Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're basically putting together a survival guide for the modern workplace. We're going to cover everything from how to land that first job to dealing with the biggest challenges you'll face. The goal here is to map out the whole journey so you can really take control.
So let's just start with the big question. What does a career even mean these days? Because let's be real, the whole idea has been totally flipped on its head. It's not this straight line anymore. To figure it out, we're going to follow the entire life cycle of a career, from getting your foot in the door to the really tough choices you might have to make later on.
Okay, so our journey starts way before you even get your first paycheck. It kicks off with what it actually takes to get a foot in the door in the first place, because wow, is it competitive out there? All right, so for a lot of us, this is the picture, right? Diploma in hand, ready to take on the world. But here's the reality check. As one manager in our source material put it, that piece of paper is great, but fresh graduates just don't have real work experience. So it's only the first step. And this gets us right to the heart of a classic debate. Book smarts versus street smarts. Or in this case, practical skills. Studying philosophy is fascinating. It builds critical thinking, for sure. But a lot of employers are thinking, okay, but it's more useful if you can actually do something. Like a scientist? It's not just about what you know, it's about what you can do. So here's the bottom line. Beyond that piece of paper, what companies are really looking for is a certain kind of person. They want people who take initiative, who can work with a team, who are motivated and don't wait to be told what to do. And yeah, you've got to know your way around a computer. These are the things that show you can jump in and make a difference from day one. Okay, so let's say you did it. You proved you've got the goods, and you landed the job. Awesome. The next big thing to wrap your head around is how you get paid. And the words here really, really matter. So a lot of professional jobs will offer you a salary. What's that? It's basically a fixed amount of money you get every single month. It doesn't matter if you worked a few extra hours or not. Think of Luigi, the hotel manager in Venice. Whether it's a slow season or a crazy summer, his paycheck stays the same. It's predictable. Now on the flip side, you've got wages. This is totally different. Here you get paid for the exact time you put in, by the hour or by the day. Our example is Ivan, a waiter in Prague. He's earning minimum wage for every single hour he's on his feet. So for him, more hours literally means more money. And then there's the extra stuff. This is how companies get you motivated to go the extra mile. You might get a bonus, which is a lump sum of cash for hitting a target. Or if you're like Catherine, the saleswoman in Paris, you might get a commission. That means for everything you sell, you get to keep a small piece of it. This is also a really big deal, knowing the actual terms of your job. Is it a permanent, full-time gig with no end date in sight, or is it a temporary contract that's only for a few months or for a specific project? The difference is huge for your sense of security and, planning your life. All right, so you're in, you got the job, you know how you're getting paid. Now let's peek behind the curtain and see how these companies actually, work. What does the inside of the machine look like? Every company has a structure, a kind of hierarchy. And a lot of the time, you can see it just by looking at the office layout. You've got the different departments like finance and marketing, the big CEO's office up top, and then maybe the factory or shop floor where the hands-on work gets done. The physical space often tells you who's in charge. And here's where it gets kind of interesting. That structure, it can look totally different depending on where you are in the world. In the UK, for instance, the top boss might be called the managing director. But in the US, you would almost always call that same person the CEO. The chief executive officer. It's the same job, just a different title on the business card. But, that old school 9 to 5, sitting in an office all day, that's not the only game in town anymore. We're seeing all these flexible ways of working pop up. With flextime, you can decide your own start and end times. Teleworking, which we all know now, is working from home. And there's even job sharing, where two people can actually split one full-time job. Okay, so a career isn't just about showing up and doing the work, right? It's supposed to be about moving forward, about progressing. But that whole climbing the ladder thing, it's gotten a lot more complicated. There are some serious highs and lows. Yeah, back in the day, the dream was the job for life. You'd join a company, you'd work your way up, get promotions, and retire with a pension. Today, that is so rare. It's much more about the job for now. People bounce between companies, they work on short-term contracts, maybe as a freelancer. It's a whole different ballgame. And this Modco company from our source material is a perfect illustration of this. To save money and be more efficient, they did something called delayering. They cut the number of management levels from 5 down to 3.
This makes the company flatter, but it also means there are way fewer rungs to climb on that career ladder.
So when a company does this kind of thing, when it downsizes, people often get made redundant or laid off. If that happens to you, the company might offer a severance package. That's some money and benefits to tide you over while you look for your next thing. It's a bit of a cushion.
And that brings us to our last section, and honestly, it might be the most important one. We really need to talk about the tough stuff because the pressure of the modern workplace can take a huge toll on people. Look, when work is good, it is really good. It can be just like what Patricia, the university lecturer, is describing here. It's stimulating, it's rewarding, it's challenging in a good way. It can give you a real sense of purpose. But what happens when that challenge turns into just relentless pressure? Well, that's when you find yourself in the rat race. And if you stay in it for too long, it can lead to burnout, which is just this feeling of being completely and totally exhausted by your job. And it's a huge problem today. And burnout, as bad as it is just the tip of the iceberg. People are dealing with so much more. There's the glass ceiling that still stops women from getting top jobs. There's bullying. There are physical problems like repetitive strain injury. And there's still, unfortunately, discrimination. These are very real, very serious challenges. So, faced with all this pressure, something really interesting has started to happen. People are downshifting. It's a conscious choice. People are deciding to step off the fast track, maybe take a pay cut, and choose a less stressful job so they can actually enjoy their lives. It's a powerful signal that people are questioning if the rat race is even worth winning. So where does that leave us? The old promise, that job for life, it's gone. It's just not a thing anymore. In its place, we have something that's way more flexible, sure, but also way less secure. So the big, crucial question we're all left with is this: what are we going to build to replace it? What kind of career and what kind of life are you going to build?